Chapter 13 talks about jobs in family and consumer resource management. So here's a list of just a few of the jobs that we are going to be talking about in this chapter. A lot of these types of jobs, when you think about resource management, it's going to be financial type of things. So for these types of careers, some of them you're going to want to be also involved in taking some business classes, some finance classes, things like that. So if one of these sounds interesting to you, just look into the different requirements for that type of career. There's probably going to be some business classes that you would need to take, and maybe accounting, finance, things like that. So, a few different options. Financial managers help give a financial advice, right? So they're going to help them if they're starting a new business. They might work for a bank or something like that. Kind of goes along with financial planning. That type of job would help someone. Maybe they're trying to save for retirement, so they're going to help them go through all their different finances and see what type of investments they want to make in order to be able to save for their retirement. So these two definitely you're going to want to need have some finance type of classes. There's probably some certifications in your state in order to be a certified financial planner or financial manager. You're going to need to pass some tests, get some type of certification. So check with your state on the local, requirements for that. For credit counseling, you might work for a, there's a lot of like debt consolidation companies like that they would need to go have a counselor go in and talk with the family about their spending habits, about how much debt they have. If someone's filing bankruptcy or something like that, they'll often speak to a credit counselor that will help them with their debt situation. Um, a consumer researcher, these people might work for companies that kind of um, rank different products. So you might have heard of like there's magazines that will have like consumer reports or something like that, or there's some that are like for cars and things like that. Where they'll go and look at all the different products and rank them and kind of compare them and things like that. So that would be someone that would probably work for one of those types of companies that's helping consumers be able to make decisions about big purchases. Then human resources is probably the most interesting one here that we've got in this category. So there is definitely a high demand for this type of job. So if you're interested in this, this is a good career field to go into because almost every type of company needs a human resource specialist. So they're the person that does paperwork when it comes to the benefits like health insurance and things like that. They'll do the hiring paperwork. They fill out all this, legal documents and things like that. They kind of keep things organized when it comes to the personnel of the company. They'll also deal with complaints or, things going on that might need some type of mediator or something. If there's a complaint filed against an employee, they'll bring both employees in and have to sit down and have a meeting about it. They'll do a lot of the training. So if you need to have some diversity training in your business or any other types of company-wide type of training, the HR person is going to be involved in all of that. So again, that's one of those types of jobs where you're probably going to need some business know-how, depending on what field specifically you're going into with HR. So for these, what do you need to get as far as your education and your experience? Well, it really just depends on which one of these types of fields you want to go into. But the overall kind of um, skill set that you would need was to be organized. You're going to need to be good at problem solving. You're going to need to be good at relationships and talking to people. Finances, you're probably going to want to be good at math if you're going into something like that. Most of these are going to require some type of four-year college degree, but it really just depends on which one you're going into. So you're going to want to definitely research what your state or local agencies are that are going to be doing those certifications. So if you want to be a financial planner, you need to research that and figure out what type of education or certification you would need. Having a second language is helpful in a lot of these as well, just because there are so many different parts of the country that have needs for foreign language. So being bilingual is also a good trait to have for those. Working conditions. So anytime you're dealing with families and stressful situations, which a lot of times these financial situations are stressful. I mean, if someone is in way too much debt and they're needing to file bankruptcy, that's going to be a very stressful situation. It can be very sensitive to talk about finances and things like that. So being able to stay calm, working through those things, being able to be understanding of someone's situation is also really important. So for this chapter, it's kind of not exactly what you would think of as far as family and consumer sciences. There is a lot more of the business aspect in this chapter. Just lots of different varieties that they do fall under the FCS umbrella, but definitely kind of leaning more towards the business side on a lot of these. So definitely look into what kind of business classes you would need to take if you're interested in one of these careers.